Hey everyone, Jamie Pate here, and welcome to this video. This week is World Card Making Week day. It's actually just a day, but ScrapbookCom, I'm just following the leader. ScrapbookCom made this a week celebration, and so I have been celebrating all week as well. You may, if you follow me on Instagram, may have seen these cards being posted all week, and it's kind of a variation on a theme. It's how I love to make cards, and I am going to unpack this card for you today. Now, I've heard from a lot of you lately, which I'm so thankful for, and there's a little consensus out there that we like longer videos. So don't hang up on me because this might not be a very long video. Time's just kind of the essence right now, but I really wanted to get this in. So don't quit on me. Here we go. Okay, as you can see here, this is a lot of layers, and I'm going to leave this up here as a sample. And what I'm planning on doing is walking through each layer just really step by step, giving some input for each one as we go, and showing you how to build this card. Now, one more caveat, and you've heard me hopefully say this before. A card is a tag front, is a scrapbook page embellishment cluster, is sometimes it can be something for a memory planner page as well. So if you can make it on a card front, you can put it anywhere else. Oh, hey, frame it and put it on a canvas and give it as a gift. That's a great idea too. In the meantime, we're going to start with the very base of this card. I'm going to grab my ruler because I'm just going to give you measurements as we go. I started with the Vintage Artistry Serenity by 49 and Market. And I am using Spellbinders. You can see I even have mint tape still on this one. I'm using Spellbinders Rectangle Essentials. And I cut out the base of the card, and then I trimmed around the dots. Oops, let's put this the right way. So it makes it about not quite 4 inches, but you can make it whatever measurement you want because it's up to you how you want to trim around those dots. Mine just happens to be about 4 inches and about 5 1/8. Not too terribly beholden to a card base size. Those can be any size we want. So I took the Serenity paper, I die cut it with this with this Rectangle Essentials, and now I have my base. The next thing I did was grab, this is also called Serenity, but it's Serenity Textures. It's a 6x6 paper pad by Paper Rose. I was looking up ledger papers and I came across this and loved it, so I grabbed it. So what I've done, let me grab my ruler, I just trimmed this out to about 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. And then you know the trick, right? I just distress the edges. Don't distress if you don't want. It's just something I do. And what I'm going to do here is just lay this on this first layer here. So this is basically our second layer. Distress the edges, pull them up if you want. Easy peasy. And there is the start of your card. Okay, now the next thing I have this peppermint smooth cardstock. The great thing about these cardstock pads from ScrapbookCom is that there are like 5 sheets of each of them. So it's just a great resource to have. I really liked this. I don't know, it's a sort of sage green color. I used Paper Rose Polaroid die. Yes, I'm a die girl. And here's the thing, and I don't have it to show you right now. I will in a minute with some other items. But if you're going to cut one thing out of a die, cut like 3 more, and then you have it. Hence these cards here, right? Just cut out a bunch of Polaroid dies, a bunch of the Rectangle Essentials, and I have a lot of fodder to work with to make several cards. So once I had decided on my dies, then I just cut several of them. So now at this point, what we're going to do is I'm going to grab my multi-hole punch, but I'm going to put 2 holes up here at the top, just so I want to make sure I know where I'm actually going to be poking my holes. And see this last part of the card, the only thing it's attached by is that twine. So what I did is I just kind of lined it up here. Now I knew I wanted the frame to be juxtaposition, so that's how I'm going to cut my holes. And so just going to line this up here. I'm going to go for the little bigger hole. Let's go for that second size. I'm going to line this up again. I want to make sure that the background paper is inside my rectangle little punched holes because I want all that showing. And I'm having some issues here. So you are watching this in real time today. Okay, now I'm just going to look for there's my first one. And then I'm going to pop the next one. There we go. All right. And then I just have twine. I get asked about this twine all the time. This is just something I grabbed from May Arts. It's a huge ball of twine and I use it all the time. And so I'm just going to thread and thread. The first time I did this, I just tied a little knot. And then the second time I did it, I tied a bow and I decided I liked the bow better. So I'm going to tie a bow again because I like the bow better. You do you. Sound familiar? And then, you know, if the strings are a little bit too much, just pop them off. Okay, so that was made from the peppermint paper Polaroid by Paper Rose die. Now at this point, this is really where we want to get into the idea of just have die cuts pre-dyed, stash them away by color stories. This is a definite color story here for me. In that mindset, I have taken now the delicate leaves and I grabbed this kind of bluish color from the Harvest Smooth cardstock. And then I'm going to come into here and I'm going to grab a different color a different color ticket. I don't have a whole lot of colors right now, I'm realizing. So we're just going to make this work. We're going to make it work. What I'm going to do at this point is just go ahead and line up my delicate leaves. I liked the 2 of them. You could do 3. You could keep it to 1. This one's come out. It's being rebellious. And then I take a tiny attacher and I just attach them right to the die cut. Now this die cut is also Paper Rose and it's the tickets die cut and I will have everything linked below. But wait, there's more. I have also used the DIY pockets, the tall skinny ones. I've already die cut a pocket out of the gray from the Christmas. That's a great gray. That's a great neutral gray for all the things and it came from these 2 items. I am going to go ahead and put this in place. Now, the only thing I'm kind of questioning here is my ticket is also the same gray, but I think we're going to fix that. And something else we're going to do, I'm going to grab a piece of cardstock. I'm going to clear the deck here a second and glue down. I'm going to glue the flaps to this background paper, because I actually want it to be a full pocket. I've just decided because of the way I'm going about these layers, a full pocket is kind of important to have. So just set something on that. Sometimes I like to grab a stamp block and set that on there and let it dry while I figure out the rest of my pieces here. Now I'm going to grab, this is from the small tabs dies from ScrapbookCom. And this is a great space to add your sentiment. I'm probably not going to put this on a card front. So I want the reader to know, the receiver to know that there's something underneath here. So a tab is a great indicator for that. So then they're going to lift that up and see, oh, there's my message. There it is. So I love the small tabs for that. While I play with this a little bit, I've also pre-dye some of this colored cardstock that is also from the Paper Rose Serenity. And now I'm just looking for a small little piece that will be where my sentiment will live. And I thought I had one in here, but now it's gone away. Okay, I'm going to use this one right here. There we go. Okay, and before, I'm still letting my envelope dry a little bit. Whoops, now I am. And before I start to finish layering everything else, I am going to grab a sentiment from the Sunny Days Word Fetty. Great card sentiments. and grabbing one of my most favorite colors right now, Vintage Photo, I think is a nice another neutral for this card series. So I'm just going to ink that up and get that sentiment, which says greetings, right there on the middle of this die cut cardstock. Okay, now I need to trim away my pocket from the cardstock. So I'm going to do that carefully because I don't want to cut the pocket actually, right? So I'm going to do that carefully and ta-da. Okay, now all my placements on my cards, if you'll notice, are slightly different. No two placements are alike, which I'm okay with. And I'm going to, because this gray is the same color as that pocket die, I'm going to just go give it some distress. I'm just using my fingernail here. I don't really suggest that, but you know, sometimes you just do what you got to do. But here's the thing that's going to kind of help differentiate the pocket. And this is brand new 49 Market Essentials Text Blends. Hickory. These are just lovely. These are lovely. I am a fan of these so very much. So what is fun about this is I'm going to take just a small bit of this, and I think I'm going to grab this one here. I know it's going to live on this side, so I need to cut kind of from this side a little bit. I'm going to kind of size that up a little bit. I can cut this right in half and use that other half for another project. So I hope the result of this is that it will kind of help separate those two grays. And that's one of the ideas behind making sure you have plenty of dyes in different colors pre-cut, because then you have a little bit more variety, right? But in this instance, I just wanted to show you how to work with what I had in this situation. And that just makes for a very, very beautiful image. So the thing about this is, even though my frame is juxtaposition, I want to make sure that my envelope shows straight on the card. So it's not totally going to matter. It's just kind of a thing I decided I wanted it to look that way. So I'm just lining that up there as best I can. But before I get ahead of myself, there's one more element I wanted to add in here. This is becoming a very vintagey card. And I think when you add some different elements to something, I like this harvest patterned collection. I cut a piece out with a 2-inch circle punch. And then I'm actually probably going to cut it. And then I'm going to pop it down into here, and it just gives a little bit of a modern touch. It's not even really going to be seen that much. I'm fine with that. It's just so super subtle. It's one of those things that when you actually do point it out to somebody, they're like, oh yeah, now I see it. So now that my pocket's in place, I'm just going to set that kind of as straight as I can. And I don't really want it to show on this right side. Oops, we have a little bit of permanence here. Here we go. All right, that's all I need. That's all I need. So now you can see how that, and you can hardly see it in this instance. You can see it better here in this instance. We're just going with it. We are just going with it. Okay, so now I have that there, and that's going to go there, and watch what we're going to do with this. Grab that fern, watch what we're going to do. I'm going to grab our tiny attacher again. We're just going to staple it all together. Now, if you want to add some height, you can use dimensional adhesive tape instead. I'm going to actually not do that this time. I might have on some of these. I don't know. It's just, there's no rules to this, really. Just using some of this 0.75, I say 0.75, 3/4 inch adhesive. I just want to make sure everything's going to line up here. And that is how this card came together. Slightly different from this one, right? Because it's a variation on a theme. And I didn't make one, but just cut yourself a little tag, and the tag pops right into the pocket. And it's just so much fun. And your recipient's gonna love this. And you can make all kinds of wonderful messages there, and then just keep cutting and keep making. Okay. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. That was a little speed session of making a card, but I really do feel like it's packed with technique. Cut your dies, friends. Cut them out and keep cutting and just enjoy the cutting and enjoy the making, and I will see you in the next video.